There's a drug slowly killing your productivity every single day, and you don't even know it. And here's the worst part. You pay for it, you celebrate it, and you actually think it makes you more efficient. But this is the only conversation you need to completely shatter that illusion, the one that's been sabotaging your life for decades. Today, I'm going to show you how caffeine became the most socially accepted drug on the planet. I'll explain why 99% of people, and maybe you, think they need more coffee, when in reality, they need to stop sabotaging their own lives. But before I show you how to break free, I need to tell you a truth that will shock you about what's really happening inside your head every time you have one of those 5 cups a day. Did you know that coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world, second only to oil? That's not a coincidence. It's a symptom of a society that can no longer function on its own natural energy. And here's something even wilder. That cup of coffee you had at noon could still be circulating in your brain at midnight. And that's just the start of what you'll uncover in this video about the world's most accepted drug. Caffeine's history and the price of borrowed energy. Caffeine literally built the modern world. It was the fuel of the Industrial Revolution, allowing workers to power through 16-hour shifts. Before caffeine, people slept when night fell and woke up with the sun. But today, it's the exact opposite. Being relentless and running on little sleep has become the new normal. And what feels like a superpower is actually self-sabotage, a loan your body will collect on with sky-high interest rates. You've probably seen it online, but I need to highlight this. In South Korea, college students are chugging iced coffee while studying, treating it like a productivity hack. And not far from that, offices everywhere boast a sacred coffee altar, worshiping it as the ultimate productivity booster. But no one talks about the real cost of this borrowed energy. And you might be paying that price right now, without even realizing it. The caffeine hack, the adenosine lie. But let me share a fact that will permanently change how you see coffee. Caffeine doesn't generate your energy, it simply steals the energy you already have. Matthew Walker, a Stanford neuroscientist and author of Why We Sleep, discovered that caffeine acts like a powerful hacker invading your brain. It disguises itself as adenosine, the neurotransmitter that tells you when it's time to rest, and blocks your brain's receptors. It lies to your system, telling it, "It's all good, keep working." But that's a massive problem. It's like putting duct tape over the fuel gauge in your car. The tank is still empty, but you don't see the issue until you break down on the side of the road. This multi-billion-dollar industry has built an entire marketing system to make you believe you need this substance to function. But the truth is much more sinister. People who rely on coffee as fuel live in a state of incessant fight or flight, with adrenaline and cortisol spiking, causing anxiety and excessive heart palpitations. And that doesn't mean you're being productive, it means you're just stressed. And coffee comes with an even higher price tag because what it does to your sleep structure is truly terrifying, destroying your sleep. Do you know anyone who swears they can have coffee late at night and sleep fine? Yeah, that kind of talk is more common than you think. Matt Walker conducted studies that reveal something alarming about this. A 200 milligram dose of caffeine at night, the equivalent of about 2 average cups of coffee, reduces your deep sleep by 20%. 20%. That's the amount of deep sleep you'd lose by aging 15 years. And you can fast-track that achievement every single night by simply having 1 cup of coffee too late. Deep sleep is where your mind rests, memory is consolidated, toxins are cleared, and your immune system is restored. When you lose 20% of that, you are literally aging your brain faster. The worst part is these people wake up thinking they slept well and don't remember waking up multiple times during the night. They spend 8 hours in bed, but the sleep quality was so poor they can't feel fully refreshed. Sound familiar? But here's the cruel irony. Instead of cutting back on coffee, they drink more because they feel tired. They don't realize this is the perfect cycle of addiction. And what looks like tolerance is actually the deterioration of parts of the brain. People who can drink coffee at night have a shattered sleep architecture, less deep sleep, more fragmented sleep, masked anxiety, physical dependence, and headaches when they stop. It doesn't mean they're immune to the negative effects. It just means they've lost the ability to perceive them. But if caffeine is so problematic, why is it seen as a synonym for productivity? That's what we need to talk about now. The marketing lie and the when to stop. Rule: coffee isn't sold as a drug. It's sold as a moment of happiness, a warm embrace, and the energy to face the day. For a long time, coffee has been the ally of those who need to pull all-nighters and endure endless shifts, turning being tireless into an expected standard. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's very common now to see people treating coffee as a trick to turbocharge productivity, consuming 5-6 cups a day like it's just water. The marketing has been so effective that it has normalized giving a psychoactive stimulant to children. Are you startled? Don't be, because this is reality. Caffeine is one of the only drugs people freely offer to their kids. But here's what the coffee companies won't tell you. There's a science behind when to stop drinking caffeine, and now you're going to learn about it. To prevent caffeine from destroying your sleep, you need to know exactly when to stop, and it's not after lunch, as everyone says. For a standard cup of coffee, about 100 milligrams, you need to stop at least 8 hours before bed. If you go to sleep at 10 p.m., no coffee after 1 p.m. The problem is that caffeine has a half-life of 6 to 7 hours. So, even when you fall asleep after consuming caffeine, your sleep quality is compromised. You might spend 8 hours in bed, but you wake up feeling like you only slept for 4. Plus, your liver might process caffeine differently. Some people are slow metabolizers. For them, a single cup of coffee can affect their sleep for up to 14 hours. The intelligent caffeine strategy. Now that you understand the mechanism of caffeine inside you, it's time to learn how to intelligently reduce or eliminate caffeine. Wait 90 to 120 minutes after waking up. Rule 1. When you first wake up, your body is naturally flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Adding caffeine is pouring gasoline on a fire. Rule 2. Only use it 2 to 3 times per week. This prevents the saturation of your receptors and psychological dependence. Rule 3. Correct doses, 100 to 200 milligrams. More than that, and you get more side effects than benefits. But what if I told you there's a way to have real, sustainable energy without relying on stimulants? Sustainable energy, aligning with your biology. High-performing people understand that sustainable productivity doesn't come from stimulants. It comes from aligning your routine with your body's biology. And that's what I want to help you do. You just need to focus on a few specific points like this. Restorative deep sleep. Dim the lights 2 hours before bed. Keep your room dark and cool. Stay away from screens 1 hour before lying down. Natural light in the morning. Expose yourself to natural light. This regulates your biological clock better than any coffee. Do this within the first 30 minutes of waking up. Morning exercise. This generates real energy. It releases natural endorphins, that feel-good sensation after a good workout or a deep laugh. It improves insulin sensitivity, so your body uses the sugar you eat better, without those energy spikes and crashes, and it boosts your productivity. Proper hydration. Caffeine is a diuretic. It dehydrates you. Often, what you think is fatigue is just dehydration. Drink a large glass, about 16 ounces of water, right when you wake up. The mental strategy and the de-weaning plan. But beyond all that, there's a mental strategy that helps even more. For this, you need to understand that productivity isn't about forcing your brain to work. It's about recognizing that it works in cycles. Motivation generates work. Work generates well-being. Well-being generates more motivation. When you lack motivation, don't reach for coffee. Start with just 1 minute of work and complete one small task. That will generate the necessary motivation to continue. If you have productivity blocks because you're tired, prioritize your sleep. If you're confused, create clear lists. If you're bored, change your environment. If you're anxious, question your worries. Okay? But if you're addicted to caffeine, how do you get out of this cycle without suffering? I'm going to give you a simple exit strategy that will help you solve this. If you've made it this far and realized you are that coffee addict, relax. You don't have to quit coffee all at once. Doing that can give you headaches, irritability, extreme fatigue, and then you'll just want to go back to coffee again. That's why, in this scenario, the ideal approach isn't cold turkey. It's a gradual weaning. Think of coffee as a crutch you've used for a long time to walk. If you take it away all at once, your body doesn't know how to cope without it. It needs time to relearn. One practical way to do this is to reduce your caffeine intake slowly. For example, You can start by mixing regular coffee with decaf, 75% regular, 25% decaf. The following week, move to 50-50, then 25% regular coffee until your body no longer depends on it. But if decaf is hard to find or expensive where you live, there's another way. Slowly reduce the number of cups per day. If you drink 3, drop to 2, and then just 1 in the morning. The important thing is to give your body time to adjust. Throughout this whole process, it's essential to do a few extra things. Drink lots of water, 2 to 3 liters a day, sleep 30 to 60 minutes extra, get morning sun exposure, and exercise regularly. I'm sure if you follow this, you will improve. But the truth is, you don't need another cup of coffee. You need to stop betraying your own biology. Caffeine sold you the illusion that energy comes from the outside, when in fact, you already have an energy plant inside you. You have 37 trillion cells, each one ready to generate the real energy you need. So I want to remind you that extraordinary people don't rely on stimulants to function, and you don't need to either. These people learn to respect their rhythms, reclaim their own energy autonomy, and build productivity based on balance. Understanding that sustainable productivity comes from working with your body, not against it. You are now sharp on understanding how this drug works inside you, and you have the necessary step-by-step plan to help yourself effectively. But now, it's up to you. Finally, the question isn't, how will I function without coffee? The question is, what is my body truly capable of if I finally stop overloading it with caffeine? Now tell me in the comments, have you ever tried to go without caffeine for a few days? What was your experience like? And if you've never tried, what's your biggest fear about attempting it? I'll see you in the next video.